Well, there's no intro for this one. Oh, welcome back everyone. Yep, that is right. Today I'm taking a look at the first installments of the Gen 7 Pokemon games. 2016 was a phenomenal time to be a Pokemon fan. And yes, I know I did use this in my previous video, but I felt that it was right to use it again. But yeah, so moving on. Yeah, 2016 was very fun year to be a Pokemon fan. We had re-releases of the Gen 1 games, Pokemon Go had just been released, and there were, two new Pokemon games coming to the 3DS later that year. Of course, these two would eventually be Pokemon Sun and Moon. And almost 6 years later, how well do they hold up? Well, that's what I hope to answer in this video, but before I get into my thoughts, I just want to kind of give a quick synopsis on the story. So if you haven't played these yet, I strongly urge you to play them, or if you don't care, well, just continue on. These games take us to the Alola region. We had just moved there from Kanto, and we, of course, are going through some island trials, which had replaced the gyms. Well, at least in this generation. But of course, it's during this time when we meet a bunch of numbskulls named Team Skull, and a mysterious girl named Lily, who, well, eventually happens to be connected to Lusamine, the leader of the Aether Foundation. Yeah, I was one of the people who was surprised that Lusamine actually turned out to be evil. So, well, what does Lusamine do? Well, she unlocks a ultra wormhole and kind of gets these guys running around the region, and then we have to deal with them in the post game. So that's pretty much the entire story. But I gotta say, it was a pretty interesting story. So, what are my thoughts on it, and do I recommend these games? Well, personally, I am a huge fan of these games. Anyone who's, well, seen the icon of this channel, as well with my other channel, Moonlight Belladonna, it becomes very obvious that I am a huge fan of Lunala, and Pokemon was one of the main reasons why I even started YouTube anyways, so I'm going to have a lot of things to like about the series. And Gen 7 is no exception. First of all, I thought the Island Trials were pretty cool. I know some people are mixed on them and prefer gyms, but I honestly would have not cared if Pokemon continued down this route. I think it was an excellent idea, although there were a few trials that just were kind of uninteresting. Of course, speaking about them, then there is also Z-moves. Z-moves are kind of a controversial thing in Pokemon. You got people who like them and you got people who hate them. Honestly, I'm more mixed on them myself, but I don't think that they shouldn't have been in the games. They're just something that I feel like were good at the time, but not as impressive as Mega Evolution. Although I will definitely say to people who do nothing but crap all over Z moves, kind of feel like the same people who were arguing against Mega Evolution back when X and Y were released. So, just kind of shows that you can't impress everyone at times. I was gonna say all the new Pokemon, well, at least for the most part, were pretty interesting. Pokemon like Arachnid, Lycanroc, Primaria, and Gumshoos were all pretty interesting Pokemon, and thought they were pretty cool. Alola forms were also a neat addition, and it was great to see that they continued on with subsequent Pokemon games. And unfortunately, there are a few flaws with these ones. One of the many complaints I've heard about Sun and Moon, aside from the Z moves, is the fact that the game does kind of get a little too handholdy, and the cutscenes in the game. I can agree with the handholding aspect does kind of get a little boring, but considering these games aren't really made for my age demographic, I can cut them some slack. As well with the cutscenes, they never really bothered me. Like, yeah, they kind of get annoying if you were trying to do a speedrun of the game, but other than that, they're not really bad. I also gotta say the post-game isn't as impressive as previous post-games that we've been introduced, but I kind of feel like Ultra Sun and Moon definitely did their post-game a lot better. I also gotta say, I don't really like the smaller Pokedex for this one, as the Pokedex, well, has 300 Pokemon in it, which is pretty cool. It's just compared to the previous one, well, not Omega and Alpha, but with X and Y, it had 450 Pokemon in it, which kind of makes it a little sad that they had like 100 less Pokemon in this one. But again, my complaints also can't get solved with Ultra. But of course, the only other thing I want to touch on before I end the video is the whole if these games are easy or not. I know a lot of people have said these games are too easy, and I can agree, some parts of these games are easy, but there's been some trials that were nightmares to do. So I kind of agree and disagree with that. Personally, I find Ultra Sun and Moon to be a little more difficult than these ones, but these two Pokemon games were kind of challenging in some parts, and it made me enjoy them a lot more. But overall, despite a few flaws, Pokemon Sun and Moon were very impressive Pokemon games and were a wonderful part in the series' history, and I would definitely recommend them. If anyone hasn't played these yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. I feel like you'd be missing out on quite a lot. I also feel the same thing with the successors, which I'll be taking a look at later this month. But that's really all I have for today. I hope everyone enjoyed this, and thank you for getting my recent anime review up to that many views. It was pretty cool to see that one blow up, and I hope to do more content like that in the future. But until then, that's all I have for today, so goodbye.